Hello and welcome to the Global Podcast. My name is Gwinzer and we are here to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of global conflict, which is a Battlefield community currently playing on PC every week. You can go ahead and visit us at global-conflict.org to know more. With me today we have Matsiv.
Hello.
And no one else, it's just us two today, Matsiv. We don't have much to speak about today. There hasn't been much happening in the community, so we're just going to touch on a couple of subjects. First, we will give an update on the current GC situation. As anyone who's been following the forums may have noticed, there hasn't been much in the way of announcements for next campaign. There hasn't been any threads up for volunteers for generals or officers or high command or anything like that yet. I have been speaking with a couple of senators today, and what we have been told so far is that we're looking at about 1 week after the patch is released, and there then may be some threads going up. That's still a may at the moment. It's still high-level discussions, which we're not privy to. But for today, though, what we did in our events today is we played Arma 3 with a tactical battlefield mod. We had Hitman organise that for us and got a heap of people playing. How did you feel it went today, Massive?
It went pretty good considering the mod, and it's quite different from Battlefield, so there's a lot more realism and other tactical things you got to get used to with a more realistic simulation than an arcadey Battlefield thing, but I thought it went pretty well. A lot of new people showed up, so had, some learning curve, but you're going to have that in anything.
Yeah, and I have to say, I think the new people managed to get to grips with the game quite quickly, especially with Hitman's instruction, with the fancy menus and stuff that's in the game. We kind of managed to get people cleared up through that quite quickly, dealing with identifying enemies, which is quite difficult in Arma, between your allies and friends. I don't think that was much of a problem. If anything, me, who's played a fair bit of the mod, had more difficulty than the newbies.
Well, I still have trouble with it, and I've played it quite a bit too, so.
But yeah, I mean, 70 people we had on, and we had people waiting, and the only reason it was capped at 70 is because the server we was playing on was not as powerful as we could have perhaps used. They could have had certainly a lot more people, and we had like 5 people waiting at one point just in our community. I am quite curious as to how big those games could get if they had the servers that were powerful enough to handle it.
Or other things, like a lot of the mod is still in a... I mean, the Arma 3 engine is still kind of in a semi-unoptimized state, and the mod does some things that are a little sketchy as far as resource management from time to time, so... I felt like today I was playing most of the day with 20 FPS or lower, and I have a fairly high-end system, so...
Yeah, there is certainly a lot of background scripts and stuff happening in that mod which really don't have to be running, or if they're running, happening as often as they are. It massively hampers performance. That's why I'm kind of looking forward to the mod that we're developing as a community, which is kind of, we're looking at how what we're running is going to affect most people's computers, and we're kind of maybe limiting on how often a script would be running. Instead of showing up on every frame, we look at stuff which you maybe want to only show up when you're pressing a button or something like that.
Indeed.
So yeah, if there's anyone interested in Arma 3 Tactical Battlefield, taking a look at the current front page, if you scroll down a bit, you will see there's a thread which has got links to our thread, which has got a lot of people's opinions on the game and cool stories, and there's also a link to the files to download. It's like a 60 meg download to get it going. It's a quite easy setup. It's really, it takes the complexity that could be Arma and dumbs it down while adding Battlefield-esque kind of game modes, basically, especially things like Insurgency, like you have in Project Reality for BF2 if you ever played that. If you're also interested in assisting with the mod development that we're doing for Arma 3, where we're building our own mods, feel free to apply to the group in the forums to do that. Look at your user control profile and go to groups, scroll down and apply to join the Arma 3 dev group. But moving on from Arma 3, we're looking at our future events for this community until we've got Battlefield 4 working again. At the moment, there's nothing planned in concrete. The way it is looking for now is Red Orchestra 2. Looks like we'll be doing that next Saturday. That's not confirmed yet. if you're interested in Red Orchestra 2 or don't know what it is a World War II first-person shooter simulator-esque kind of game. It's pretty solid gameplay. No, you need teamwork in order to win, and it's extremely cheap on Steam, so feel free to give it a shot. Have you played much of Arma 2, Massive?
I actually picked it up during the Steam Winter Sale for $5, but have never gotten a chance to install it yet. So I'm actually looking forward to giving it a chance next weekend since I haven't actually installed it yet.
Yeah, I'm certainly wanting to give it a go next weekend. But one thing to keep in mind, guys, is we are doing or trying to do BF3 at BF4 at the start of the day. And then moving on to the other game about halfway through the day. Next week we do have it penciled in for trying out Commander mode. So give that a shot. If you haven't played much of BF4 and need to get your unlocks up, start doing that now. Find a couple of GC guys to hop on a server with and just point whore. So guys, not much to speak about today. The community has been quite quiet so far on what's happening in the future. As once the Battlefield patch is out, I'm sure we'll start to see some more news from us. We will catch you next week. You've been listening to the Global Podcast. I'm Gwinzer. With me today has been Matsif, and Mr. Blue has been in the recording booth. Thank you for listening, and tune in next week.